welcome to the Craft House. How on earth are you if we've not met before? Lovely to see you. My name's Becky and oh my goodness, I have got some real true treats. Anyone fancy some new elements added to your stash? Yeah, me too. I can never say no, especially when they're as beautiful as the Dreamies products that we have got for you today. Let me tell you, this brand has got everything. If you love really good high quality papers, if you love MDF, I have got stamps, I have got so much and it's all new for you today. That's on its way. And if that's not good enough, don't forget, I've got an extra 5% off for you today. Yep, honestly, extra 5% off on all of your orders today and on Sunday. So, are you platinum? If you're platinum, you already get 20% off, yeah? You're gonna get an extra 5% off on top of that. And if you're brand new today, you can get 20% off your order with the added 5% off. So not only have you got brand new elements, you get an extra special discount treat as well, while still topping up your points. We have got some special guests with us today. Yes, plural. I'm going to start off by saying hello to our wonderful expert. It's Jan.
Hi, Becky. Wow, yeah, this is an exciting one for me today. I've not done a Dreamies show before, but I've had a chance to play with these at home. Some gorgeous things. And I just want to say to all of you today, everybody's welcome today. We're going to be having a go at making this later on in the show. I've had a play at home with it, but I'm going to recreate it to show you how it goes together. And it's almost touching on a little bit of mixed media again. I've also got a gorgeous little birdhouse to do, along with some stamping, some colouring, you name it. I can't wait to get started this morning, Becky.
I have truly got so many goodies, and really looking at some of Jan's makes, those are just a couple you've seen there. Oh my gosh, you're going to be inspired today. And for added inspiration, we've invited a very special guest to join us via technology. Let's say hello to one of our wonderful friends and customers. It's Marsha. Hi, Marsha.
Hiya. Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
Very well this morning, thank you.
Marsha, where are you speaking to us from?
I'm calling from Woodford Green in Essex.
Oh, gorgeous. And are you in your craft room?
Not really, no. This is a little area that I do some designing at the PC. My craft room is in a garage at the moment. I've not long been here, so we're still sorting that out, but that should be pretty good when it's done.
Oh, that's exciting, all of the organisation. Marsha, you're going to be making along and you're going to be crafting a little bit whilst we're in the show, aren't you, today?
Yes, I am, yes.
We're going to learn a little bit more about Marsha as the show goes on, and we'll be nattering along to her and seeing some of those makes. Let me just let you know, if you're watching us right now, this is a pre-record. Now, the reason I'm letting you know about that is because obviously, we always ask you to get social. We won't actually be able to read out your messages as this is a pre-record. So I didn't want you to message in and think, Becky's just ignoring me. You know I'm not like that. I love hearing from you. It is just that this is a pre-record. So do feel free to get nattering on social to each other. It's just I won't be interacting with that at this moment in time. Let's get started on the newness, shall we? Yes, let's do it. Who loves stamps? Yeah, me too. We're going to be starting off with these Dreamies stamps. Now, just for anyone who maybe doesn't know the name Dreamies, it's really kind of important to let you know the difference in the selection of this wonderful branding. It is a mother and daughter team, Hayley and Carol, here from the UK, and this was actually set up by the daughter straight out of sixth form, and it has developed and grown. And as I say, coming up on the show, we've got the stamps, we've got papers, we've got MDF, and so much more. The stamps that I'm bringing to you now is this wonderful happiness collection, and as you can see, all of them have got this wonderful outdoorsy garden spring summer feel. Anyone planning on doing some summer crafts? Yeah, well, this is definitely for you. You're going to be getting all of them in together. And you're going to be able to, treat yourself to this collection, depending on which ones are speaking to you most. You can, of course, interlink them and use them in different ways. So you're getting the set of 3, and I'll just let you know that's 15 stamps in total. And today you've got an exceptional deal on that. And by my calculations, £19.99 in the UK, £31.49. That's working out at around about £1.33 a stamp. That's it. And of course, they're reusable, just in case you are new. You can use these over and over and over, year after year, day after day. So do feel free to treat yourself to that, remembering you're getting that extra 5% off today. So seize the moment and do enjoy it. You've got over 40% saving on that. So if you absolutely love creativity, as I've said, you are in the right place, because we are going to dive straight on in with some creations in Crafters Corner. What are we going to be making first, Jan?
We're going to start off with a card, because I wanted to, you know I'm a stamper, Becky,
You
so
are.
as soon as I saw the stamp sets, it's like, which one shall I use first? And I've used 2 out of the 3 sets along the show. So the first one, I'm not up on my flowers. I'm not sure what kind of flower we're on. The little bees on it are absolutely gorgeous here. And then you've got 3 different sentiments. I've just stamped out the happiness blooms from within for my project here. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. We've got some really good quality stamps. The size of this, again, if I put my hand at the side of that, you can see it's a good size focal stamp, and then you've got your sentiments beneath. So we're going to start out by stamping out that that stamp, and then I'm going to use some illustrators, some Spectrum Noir illustrators, which we've also got on the show lineup today. So if you're wanting to top up on any of your marker pens, we've got those on the show as well. So I'm just going to position this in the centre. I've got a piece of Neenah cardstock. Because I'm using alcohol markers, I want something that's got a nice smooth surface. If that's not on the show, it should be on the website, but you need this for the alcohol marking. So it could be stamping card just the same. I just prefer the Neenah when it's got a really nice smooth surface. So I've laid my stamp down. I'm going to pick it up with the stamping platform there, and then again, because I'm using alcohol markers, I need to be sure that I've got the right stamping ink, because I want this outline to set and not smudge when I start using my alcohol markers. So we've got our Finesse alcohol proof die, and you've got a picture of the alcohol marker on here to make it really straightforward, so that I've got the confidence when I stamp out this line art, it's going to stay where I've put it. I don't want to use something that the alcohol pens will actually move about and end up smudging. So a nice coating of ink, just tapping on the back of that stamp there, just to make sure it's got a good coating, and then literally pop this onto our cardstock, and just a little push, and I like to just give it a press all the way around to make sure that it's made contact with the cardstock. So we've got the platform. I think it's still in stock there, my producer's saying. Fantastic. So yeah, 10% off that one. So let's just get that down there, and just look, absolutely
So
gorgeous.
crisp.
It's beautiful stamp, isn't it?
It's
so
really
let's
nice.
just pop that to one side, and then we're going to start and do a little bit of colouring. I've got one that's completely coloured in, because it does take a little while. So with alcohol colouring, one of the top tips I can give you is to pop a piece of, almost like a blotter underneath it. I'm going to use the Illustrator pens today. As I say, those are on the show, and I've just chosen a couple. I'm actually going to blend from 2 different colour groups today. So I've chosen one of the pinks from the Delicate set, and I've chosen one of the lilacs from the Vintage set, and we're actually going to blend those 2 in together. So you don't always have to use the same colour bands. And these, if you haven't come across our illustrators before, they are lush. Dual-ended, as you're familiar with the pens. You've got a gorgeous bullet tip for either writing or colouring in those fine areas. But the bit that I love best is this beautiful Japanese brush tip. And it just makes it such a joy to colour with these. So I'm going to get both my pens on the go. I tend to have them both in my hand at the ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top of my flower with the pink, and literally use that brush just to pop in some colour. And all you need to do is literally pull those brush strokes towards you. And I'm coming about halfway down that pattern then. I'm just going to do a few at a time. I'm not going to do the whole sections. And then take my lilac, and I'm going to do the same up from the bottom, and just brush that into the pink. Same on this part here. So where it crosses over, the lilac colour will be dominant because it's a wee bit darker. And then back to the pink one again and brush that down just to blend where they join together. And then carry on, and this is so therapeutic. I could sit colouring for hours. I get lost in it, Becky. I don't know about you.
It's very meditative, isn't it?
Isn't it? And literally from the bottom again, and just take, you know, maybe a petal or a couple of petals at a time. What you don't want to do is colour the whole thing in and the alcohol start drying before you get back to it, because then you'll struggle to blend. So if you coloured the whole flower in, what you'll find is the alcohol starts evaporating, and then when you come to do the blending section of it with your other colours, you can't get that nice seamless blend in the middle because the alcohol's gone.
Yeah.
So you can see there with the flower, we've got one of the flowers coloured in, and then I'm
so
just going
pretty.
to grab, I've also got my greens, which are the verdant section, and we're going to take a couple of those out. So in each one of these, you get 2 warm tones and 2 cool tones in your colour band. So again, with the lilacs, we've got 3 lilacs and then sort of like a pinky one in there.
Yeah.
And then with the pinks, I've got 3 pinks and a very pale, fair skin one in there.
Sort of
Really, they will all blend together within their families, but as I say, you can actually blend them out like you've just seen me do with 2 colours. So again, I'm going to go with the lighter one first, and even in these tiny areas for the leaves, you can still see where we've got that beauty. This brush tip, the point on it is so fine that you can really get into those little tiny areas. And again, I'm just doing a few at a time, and then up from the bottom with that slightly darker one. But it's such a precision tip on there that you can do the tiniest little areas.
Just looks so beautiful,
just
really natural.
Bring that one down. And I love anything, stamping, colouring, anything like this. It's sort of where I started out crafting.
Yeah.
And I still, even now, I still love to do it. So again, just a little bit underneath. I'll do this little tiny leaf, look. You can just, you think, you know, it's quite a decent sized brush nib on there, but the point on it is so fine that even in those little tiny areas, you can get in there. And then what I'll do is I'll show you the one that I finished at home.
Okay.
Okay.
I love the idea of this stamp that you're using as maybe, you know how you can do almost fake paper piecing? That could be quite good because it's quite open on this stamp.
You could actually, yeah. What I've done is I've decoupaged it. So I stamped it again. So I've coloured it all once.
Yeah.
And then I've stamped it again and just coloured the flowers in. And when I bring in the one that I've actually finished here, you can see there that we've got not only the colouring done, but if I just tip it a little bit, you can see there's a bit of dimension on there as well, where I've just fussy cut the flower section.
Yeah.
So the leaves and the bees are the background layer that we started with. And then the flower heads, I've just fussy cut them and used some of my 3D gel to pop them on top. And then you've got those gorgeous little buzzy bees. And then I've just snuck a bit, I know if any of you were watching me on the Mixed Media show a couple of weeks ago, we went crazy with some of the Cosmic Shimmer products. If you've got these in your stash, I'm going to start and introduce them to some of the demos as we go along. And I've got some more Mixed Media coming up later on in the month. But just around the edge of here, you can just see where that's picking up the light.
Yes.
I've just got a little bit of that opal polish round the edge, which has given me like an iridescent shimmer around the edge of it. And then I've just used some liquid pearls just to create the decoration. So that's going to be my finished topper. And then we're going to pop together a card base using some of those gorgeous papers. And again, I've taken 3 from, and now that I'm trying to remember which one it is, the pinky lilac one, which I think is the one right on the far end.
The candy blues.
Yes, I think so, yes. It's one of the lilac ones. I've not got my pads out, otherwise I could tell you. But yeah, I've taken 3 pieces and I'm going to use the dot size of this one, the pink dots.
That is candy blues.
And then I've got one of the florals. They're all double-sided, but I want the plain piece on that one. And then again, you've got a really vibrant floral and you've got a pastel one. Now, because this is going to be my focal point, I didn't want the really busy floral with it. So I'm going to use that pastel one there. So let's pop some of these down. I've used my little paper. I can never find it in here. It always gets buried in the bottom of my bag. My little paper stresser paper crimper just to go around the edges here and just rough that edge up just to make it look a little bit shabby. So first of all, we're going to pop that one down. In fact, we'll put the layers together because I want to pop some ribbon around the whole thing. So we're going to pop my Collall glue, paper to paper, paper to cardstock. If you were watching Glue School a few weeks ago, glue of choice for when we're doing the paper layers. And again, just worth pointing out that if you have issues with your cardstock, paper stock wrinkling, this is a fab glue to go to and will prevent that from happening. Brilliant. Because it's a solvent-based glue, it will prevent any wrinkling on your papers. If you're getting that happen, it is more than likely because you've used a water-based glue and the water seeps into the paper. And once it's wrinkled, it's not very easy to get it back. No. So we're just using that solvent base and you won't get any of that, and it sets really nice and firm, so it's giving you a good basis for working on with the rest of your design. You've also got that little bit of wiggle room, and then I've just curled the corner back here and I've been sort of in my stash again, and I've got a little tiny bit of lace that I'm just going to pop under here so that it's peeking out from behind that corner there, and just tack that down underneath, and then we've got that little curled bit here. Cute. And then I'm going to run a piece of lilac ribbon all the way through there, so about a third of the way up. So we're just going to pop a little bit of double-sided, and you can see honestly that I've got through 3 glues already, just using, I've only stuck the paper layers together so far. But using the right glue for the right job does make a difference with your crafting. So we're going to bring that one across. I've been a little bit generous at that side, I think, there. Let me just wriggle it across a bit. That's better. I'm being a bit stingy with my ribbon there. There we go. I don't like wasting it. So, yeah, we're going to pop that one on that side. And then I'm going to go back to my Collall. I love this side. I think I've used this on a project later on. I'm very much sort of a pink girl, but I think lilac and teal come a close second. So there's a lot of lilac featured in today's show, I think. So yeah, just use a shop bought card blank, an 8x8 card blank, and we're going to pop that with that little corner in the top left-hand side there. So just to pop that on the base there. So that's our background matting and layering done. And then we're going to bring that topper in to go on here. So again, I can stay with the Collall because I'm still working paper to cardstock there. So that one's going to go on the back of here. And I've just sort of cut them with a slight border so that it's just slightly bigger on the paper than the actual topper. And then just a bit of decoration. I've chosen that Happiness Blooms from Within for the sentiment on there, but I think you've got to get well soon on there, and have a great day as well on that set. So we're going to put this one just towards the bottom there, and then I've got my hot glue gun on just to pop a little bow, which I've made from the remainder of that lilac ribbon. Oops, thank you. And then I also had, again, just rummaging through, I've got a little box that anything left over from previous projects goes in the little box. And I just found this one and thought, just finishes it off. Even though we've got bees on there, I just found a little tiny butterfly in the stash that we're going to pop on there just to finish that little corner off there. Okay, so Happiness Blooms from Within. If I give you that a turn round, we can have a look at that from the front there. So that's that beautiful stamp set, and that's just one from that collection. And using the Illustrator pens there. Okay.
That is just so beautiful and really, really giftable as well. I can think of loads of people who would absolutely adore that. And if you can think of someone who would in your family and friendship circle, then this is definitely the group for you, especially as we've got that extra 5% off everything on our show today. So don't forget about that. Remembering in this one, you get 3 collections, 15 stamps in total, and this is the one that the lovely Jan has just demoed with. You've also got these very elegant flowers too. Wellington, I think that's wonderful, the Wellington boot with the flowers in it. Lovely sentiments on this one, such as no rain, no flowers. That could be really wonderful for someone who's maybe going through a bit of a tough time at the moment. All of those ones in together, don't forget, you're getting all 3 of them as one set with that extra 5% off as well. So treat yourself to those, because I'm sure that they will raise a smile if you're planning on doing any craft this summer. Now, I did say to you that today wasn't just about launching those dreamy stamps. We have also got some papers for you. Now, I've got to say that we have got a real set to make you smile here. Now, let me give you the stats and the run through, if I may, first off. So what we're talking about here is a big stack of your papers, as you can see. You are going to be getting 48 designed papers, and they're in 8 by 8 inches, which is about just over 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. Now, what I want to let you know is that these are double-sided, okay? So what I mean by that, as you saw when Jan was demoing, is you've got wonderful designs on the front and then different designs on the back. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, okay, Bex, yeah, I've seen that sort of thing before, and sometimes it's a bit difficult to choose, isn't it? I've been there, I've done it myself. I have bought double-sided cards and papers before, whereby you get 3 of each design. Have you ever seen those pads? You get 3 of each set. With this, you're getting 12 of each of those papers. So you can use a massive amount of them over and over. Maybe you'll pick your favourite side and you'll have 12 of that favourite side. Or maybe you want to go half and half, and actually then you would have 6 of each one, because some of them are really different, like this one right here. So we have got a lot of use with these ones. I think these ones have got that lovely Bridgerton sort of feel. This one is my absolute fave, that wonderful ombre. How many people do you know who has got that kind of ombre effect in their hair at the moment, you know, with the colours? It's a beautiful effect, isn't it? And then we've got, hang on, yes, we've got this one here, which is, again, slightly differing designs on each side. So we have got an absolute wealth in there. And just as a reminder, 48 of those. Now that collection, if you love it, let me show you again, was this one, and it's Candy Bloom. So £8.99 you're going to be getting this set for, but remember you've got 48 pieces of that wonderful 8 by 8 paper, and these are going to be great to use with the new MDF, which is coming up pretty soon. Who loves yellow? Yellow for me is the colour of sunshine. Do you know what, actually? Another one of Becky's useless facts that I just sort of store up in my mind. You know, when you think of traditional emojis, you know, when emojis started, sort of the smiley faces that you text, the big yellow face with the big grins. One of the reasons they decided to choose those originally is because yellow is one of the most world famous colours of happiness. So lots of different countries see yellow as a colour of optimism. There you go, Jan. But you didn't know that you wanted to know that, did you?
Honestly, I just think it just cheers you up looking at it, though, I think, doesn't it? Anything yellow, I don't know what it is. It's definitely got some kind of power behind it, because you just look at it and I think naturally it cheers you. It really does. It's beautiful paper. And the other side of that, if you look at the other side as well, Becky, you've got another colour tone in there as well.
More of those delicate greens.
Beautiful.
They're fabulous, aren't they? And it really is happy-go-lucky. I love the idea of maybe, you know, the striped on deck chairs, you know, on card deck chairs would be wonderful. I really like the idea of this maybe as a memory book, you know, your photographs in the centre with that growing in. It's a really wonderful gift, and great for anyone whose maybe birthday is coming up in the next few months, or anyone who just likes the colour that makes them smile. This is definitely the one for you to get your hands on. And as we say, double-sided again, 48 in total, £8.99 on that one. And just as a reminder, this, as you can probably tell, is your Delicate Daisies collection. So if you do love that one, now is your chance to source it. I will just let you know these are new. And so we know they're going to be really, really popular, especially as they're bang on trend for this time of year. So do seize the moment on those ones whilst you can. I've got 2 more new papers for you. And if you are, like me, a purple lover, you're going to adore this one. Floral Harvest. For me, I look at this and it feels vintage. It feels, therefore, timeless. You know, sometimes when something is just chic, it's very chic, it's very timeless, it just lasts and lasts. Yeah, that's what this paper is for me. Let me show you the beauty of these. You are getting in this collection a vast amount of treats and treasures. So let me just show you side by side, one at a time. Again, double-sided on these ones. Really wonderfully busy on this. I think this is quite a unisex one, actually. And then on this side, I think I could almost be using this in 3 different pieces. That's a card blank, ready and raring to go. I could be cutting elements out here to actually use as frames around photographs. What about, has anyone done any resin bookmarks? I love working with resin. It's something I've worked with for a number of years now. And for me, I can imagine inlaying this into resin and doing like a bookmark. I just think it looks fabulous if you've got anyone in your family who loves reading. We've got this design here, again, great for your deck chairs. And then on the other side, that really, again, vintage, classic, lace-like feel in the florals. We're gonna get a little bit busy again on this one. Do you know, when I look at things like this, I do think to myself, blimey, if I were to try and recreate that, you know, stamp it and colour it in, that would take me hours to do, but it's done there for you, isn't it? You've got this design as well on the other side, which I think goes really well with that last one. If you've got the Candy Bloom, do you remember the Candy Bloom with the cloud-like ombre? How great would this go with that? Adding a little bit of oomph. And then last but by no means least, you've got the bolder designs here, great again if you are those purple lovers, and then this lovely muted delicate dot work. Now you've got the delicate dots here that run sort of from corner to corner, so they're on a diagonal, obviously they do line up, but they run corner to corner on the diagonal, which gives you a wonderful effect. It's quite subtle, this one, which I think is nice as a little bit of a backing. That wonderful ecru cream colour, again, works with everything. So you've got all of those, and that is your Floral Harvest design. Again, 8 by 8 you've got on that one, 48 of those. Now, you'd think, right, Bex, you've already launched for us today the Dreamy stamps, and I love them. You've got me 3 paper pads. I know you've got some glue and you've got some MDF. Surely there's no more. Oh no, got another set for you. And I have to say, if you love your blues, and a lot of us do, did you know that, another one of those useless facts I just know, a study was done in the UK actually, this is about 2 years ago, and 13 different colours were tested in the UK. And 33% of the nation said that blue was their favourite colour.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my friends would choose blue as their favourite colour,
Yeah.
I'm more on the pinks and lilacs sort of side, but yeah, I've got quite a few friends, and I know it's sort of like when I'm making cards for them, I tend to go with colours that I know they like.
Yes.
And yeah, blue does come up quite often.
So if you're thinking of it that way and thinking about 33% of the population say that blue's their favourite colour, this could be a great one to have in your stash, because when we make cards, we make them for other people most of the time, don't we? I am bringing to you loads again. They're 8 by 8. You're getting some wonderful hues in this. I love the powder blue elements that you've got on this one. The larger dots in there would go great with the one from the Floral Harvest. And then this is on the other side. And you've got that really lovely open detail. As well as that, I really like this one. It's got that sort of Carolina blue about it, or university blue it's sometimes known as. That Carolina blue almost in some of these designs. And then the florals on the other side. Again, how great would this be with the Floral Harvest if you did want to pair them together? Again, only $8.99. Let me grab this one over. I think they work really well. What do you think? Yeah. Suit, don't they? So that was from the Floral Harvest if you want it. You've also got this design here, and anyone love a bit of gingham? Is it gingham? It is gingham. Reminds me of when I was at school. Anyone else used to wear these dresses at school? The sort of blue ginghams when it was summertime.
Yeah.
Loved them.
With your little ankle socks.
Yeah, little socks with little frilly bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if they do them in adult sizes.
Oh.
Anyway, well, I'd love to nip down the shops in one of them again. Anyway, yes, and then you've got on this design, again, more of your florals with the delicate berry detail on this side. I love this. It almost feels like angel feathers. When you look at them, there's wispy details. Very pretty. And then again, on this side, you've got that great for your borders. That is the selection, and that is your something subtle for you in that collection. So which one or two do you fancy? Remembering you're getting that 5% off again on top of it. So do treat yourself to whichever of those you like. Now, if you have just tuned in, hi again, it's me, Becky, and the wonderful Jan is with us. And we are very, very happy to be joined by a special guest with us today, all the way from her home in Essex. It is Marsha. Hi again, Marsha.
Hiya, hi guys.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Yes, getting some crafting done this morning.
Oh, I've got to love that. Do you mind me asking, how did you get into craft? What was it that made you start crafting?
Okay, I think like most people start when we're really, really young. I was an only child for 10 years, so I kind of found things to amuse myself, got into colouring, sewing, knitting, cake baking, and it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I got back into avidly crafting. The last 2 years I now have kind of plans to get up and going with getting a whole range of products and just trying to launch a little small business, like a little gift shop.
Fabulous. And do you have, you sort of mentioned that when you were younger, you dabbled in lots of different crafts. I know it's always hard to say, but if you had to choose one medium, what would you say your favourite right now is?
Painting. I'm loving mixed media at the moment. I love MDF wood. I'm really enjoying trying out different techniques.
What is it about MDF and working with MDF? Because I know we've got some on the show today. What is it you love about working with MDF?
It's the transformation, and it's all the products that you can use. Most of us have got so much in our stash at home that literally you can just pick a couple of products, throw it at the MDF, and you really have transformed something either for your home or to sell.
We have got that MDF coming up, don't forget, on its way. I know that you've been working on something this morning. What have you been up to craft-wise?
My sister's getting married this year.
Oh,
so I'm just decorating just a plain photo album. So I've gone back to one of Zara's, her wedding collection, her signature wedding collection. I think it was maybe one of the first that she did.
Yeah.
So literally, if I just come back a moment. So I've just been doing.
Oh, beautiful.
Ooh, a spot of
Love
rustic wedding there. Yes, I recognise that,
front
Marsha.
cover.
Yeah, rustic wedding.
Yep. I've kind of gone to I do the inside and
beautiful.
The back pages.
Oh, well, I love that colour palette you've gone for.
And I'm just getting ready to put one of the transfers on.
Yep.
Oh, fabulous. That's wonderful. So is that one going to be a gift for the day, or is that going to be something you give beforehand?
I think I'm going to gear it towards, I probably will give it beforehand, but I would like them, if they want to use it for their honeymoon photographs.
Oh, gorgeous idea.
Yeah, because I mean, we're coming out of a pandemic. Two of my siblings were meant to get married last year. Everybody's had to move their dates up. So I thought I'd make her something special and she can come back, and she's an avid traveller anyway.
So she's going to be filling that with a lot of memories.
I would imagine so, yes.
Marsha, I'm going to let you carry on crafting and we're going to join you back in a little bit if that's all right.
Lovely, thank you.
Perfect, we'll see you in a minute. Okay. So we'll be joining Marsha again and finding out more about what she's up to. We were mentioning MDF though, and that is what we're diving into for our next demo. So if this is something that you haven't tried yet, Jan, if someone's heard of MDF but never really in a craft sense, who would you say this is for?
To be honest, I think anybody can have a go at this. I'm a great believer in trying things, and these are at such an affordable price point, you know, that you can have a little dabble, you know, and turn something that basically started out as wood into like a pretty, like Marsha's just said, you know, really pretty home decor pieces. And it's not that difficult. I'm going to break this down for you. We're going to remake this today in a different colourway, and I'm going to break it down, and it really isn't, you know, you want a good strong glue. I've chosen different different papers, some of them from those paper pads, and then we've got some little bit of decoration at the bottom here, just using some flowers from my stash. We've got that lovely sisal and moss bundle on the show, which I'm going to show you. Just used a bit of hot glue, and it's actually got its own stand so that it does make a really nice sort of decor piece, and I just think everybody welcome. I just think to have that, you know, maybe on a side as you come into your entrance hall or something like that, or even in your porch, something like that. I just think it would be really, really cute. So yeah, we're going to have a go at recreating this, and it actually comes to you in pieces. So you get your base piece here, which has got lots of different bits, and I'm going to talk you through each and every one of them. And then you get a set of, let me just move those to one side. You get a set of pieces that create that shape that you could see. So when I put them all together here, you can see, let me just move that one. You can see we're creating that shape of the actual piece in total. And then you've got, it's very, very cleverly designed. You've got pieces in here, these long pieces here, clip into the back to actually hold all those together. And you can see on this one that I've done here, they literally just clip into the back to hold it all together. And I like to add a little bit of glue as well when I'm doing my MDF as well. So we're going to come back to those in a second. And I'm just going to pop out, I've already started some of this because obviously the projects like this do take a wee bit longer. So when we take all the MDF just pops out, and you've got literally your little bunnies on the go here. And what I've done is I've taken one of my metallic markers out my stash, chosen a colour that matches my colour scheme, and I've just gone all the way around the edge of the pieces that are going to show. Now it's not essential to do that. Some people like the colour of the MDF, which is like the dark brown colour. I just wanted it to tone in with my design, so I've done that on the bunnies there. You can see round the edge, and then I've started covering them with some of those gorgeous papers out of those paper pads. So we've already done this one. I'm going to show you how I did it on his little partner in crime there. And then the third one, I've used some of our chalk paint, which again, we had on the Mixed Media Show. I know lots of you bought this. We sold it on the day. We are hoping to get it back in stock. We're working on it to get it back in stock. But if you did buy it, again, like I said, I wanted to start now and show you ideas of how to use it. So I've literally just used my sponge out of the top of here with the product on and literally pounced it all over. And I did 2 coats. I let it dry, and then I did a second coat to get that really good matte coverage on there.
How long did you leave it to dry
It
for?
dries really quick, to be honest, Becky. Yeah, I would say by the time you've covered it and maybe left it 2 or 3 minutes, it's dry.
Fab.
If you're impatient like I am, get your heat tool on it and just give it a quick waft over. And then I've chosen a tone ink that matches. So from our Harmony range, I've just gone with the green topaz, and this is one of our water reactive inks, and I've literally gone around the edge of it just to give it a little bit of definition with the ink around the edge. So that's that one. And then I've done the same around the edge with the paper on. All right, so I'm just going to show you how I've done those. We have got, I should have a spare bit. Where's my bit of paper gone? I did have a piece of paper, she said, and now it's hiding from me. Well, oh, it's here. I've already cut him. He's here.
Oh.
Yeah, so a piece of paper from that paper pad, and these are actually from the Delicate Daisies pad. So you can see this one here is the one that I've chosen. And all I've done is I've literally put the bunny on the paper. I've taken my pencil and I've literally just drawn around the outside of him onto the paper. Okay. And then when I'm cutting him out, I cut away the pencil line. Because the pencil's round the outside of the bunny, it's actually going to make it a wee bit bigger than you need. So if you cut away the pencil line inside it, it just brings it down to a better size. And then I'm going to go with my tacky glue for this one now. So again, using glues for purpose. So because we're going on to here, we've also got a beautiful glue that works with this by Dreamies. I just haven't got one over here, but they've actually popped one on the show as well that works just as effectively with the MDF. So give it a shake. Because it's water-based, sometimes that water separates in the tacky glue. So give it a good shake. And then again, I'm just going to cover the whole area with my tacky glue. So I'm going straight onto the MDF. She says, is the end blocked up there? Got a little bit of a a skin going on, I think. Let me just give it a... Normally, I use it straight from the little applicator. That's what I have in this one here, the little one.
Yes.
But because we're covering a bigger area, I thought we'd go to the main bottle. So again, just... There we go. Cover the whole thing. Not too much. You need enough that it's going to stick, but don't flood it too much. And then what I like to do, because I don't want all the bumps, and you need to make sure that this goes right to the edge. So I just wet my finger a little bit and then smear the glue out to the edge of the MDF, because you want a good seal all over here, right to the very edge. So just take it off the edges of your MDF there, and with your tacky glue, it's best just to leave it for a second or two to cure. And that's where it gets its name from. So it will go tacky in a second or two. And while I'm just waiting for that to happen, I'm going to bring in those pieces for the main element again. So we've got one piece ready to go, ready to show you how I've done. And then the others I've actually covered over already. And this is actually bit from my stash, because I wanted it to look like wood on the background, and it needed to be a larger piece. So I've just gone through my own stash and had a look for 12 by 12 paper, and then literally done exactly the same. So you've got 3 pieces ready. We've got the base here where we're going to attach that standing base to, and I've left again one just to show you the same principle. So I've just got a strip of it left, and we're going to cover that last piece that we need here. So again, exactly the same as what we've just done. We're going to cover it with the tacky glue. So again, all over here with that tacky glue, or with your Dreamies glue if you're going to treat yourself to that one. If you've used that before, you'll know that it's excellent quality on there. So again, just everywhere, and I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to pop this right to the edge with my finger, and then I'm going to leave this one to cure while we go back to that little bunny. So that's that one. Again, just making sure, because you want it to stick all the way down. You don't want it sort of curling up at the edges. So I'm just flicking it off the edge there to make sure that that glue goes all the way, and you don't get any of those ridges in it either from the glue. So I just pop that on there. I'm going to leave that one now to cure for a second, and we'll come back to our little bunny, who should be more than ready now. So again, I'm just going to lay my paper on top, and you'll find that it is still a little bit bigger. Because of the way that it's been cut, it's still a little tiny bit bigger. So you've got a couple of choices now. So what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to take my little tiny snips, and I'm just going to trim any excess off that sort of I can see around, sticking out round the edge of the MDF. And don't worry if it's not tidy, because I'm then going to go in with my sanding tool. And you'll be really jealous when you see my sanding tool, Brecky. You'll want one all of your own.
Will I?
Yes, it's a super duper piece of equipment. So let me just trim that round.
Is that
there.
sarcasm, Jan?
Did you get that? Did you get that? What made you think that? So again, just take off any little bits that are excess, and then here we go, look. Cheap as chips. Little nail file from wherever you can get your hands on them. I buy these in about a pack of 10 for £1.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be anything fancy. And I'm going to use this now. And the action is to go from the paper over the edge of the MDF. All right. And what it does is it smooths it, for starters. It also helps with the adhering to the MDF. And it'll get rid of any little tiny stray bits that you didn't quite catch with the scissors. So again, just pop it. It's great for getting into those smaller areas. I've got a professional one that's a larger one for doing larger areas, which I'll show you. But it's too big to get into these little tiny areas. So yeah, as I say, they don't need to be anything fancy, just literally cheap as chips. And I always keep these in my, my tool bag just in case. And you can just see how it sort of gets rid of any little tiny pieces and gives you a nice smooth finish round the edge.
Great.
And then I'm going to bring that ink back in. And again, just now, it also helps it take the ink as well, because you've exposed the fibres in the edge of the paper there. So again, we're just going to go all the way around just to define those edges here. And then we'll leave him to dry. and then that other piece should be ready for me to stick. So again, pretty much you can see now we've got our 3 little bunnies on the way there.
Cute.
Okay, so we'll pop those up there, and this one should be ready now to pop. And again, I'm just going to lay this on here and give it a good press down. And again, depending on how you want to work with this, if you like to use your craft knife, you can use a craft knife put the blade against the MDF, and you can actually use your craft knife to take away any excess. So I tend to sort of go along the straight lines with the craft knife, and then I'm going to get the big scissors out now to do the work, and literally just keep your blade against the MDF and take that edge off. And again, don't worry if it's a little bit jagged. We're going to do that same technique as what we've just done with the bunny. Okay, so get rid of that excess paper. We don't need that. And then, as I say, I have got a professional sanding one that I've bought, and you can buy these in the stores. So for bigger areas, these are great, because again, same technique. It helps to seal that edge, because if you're doing these, like Marcia said, you know, if you're planning to sell things like this, the last thing you want is all the paper curling up on the edge. And it neatens them up where you've not quite got it with the scissors. All the way round there. Now, I'm not going to ink the edge of this one. I wanted to leave this plain. And because I'm working with a sort of neutral tone, I've also left the edge of the MDF as it is on that one. I've not coloured it on this. So get rid of all that dust off there. So you can now see then that we've got our pieces that are going to make that shape here. Okay, so next job then is we're going to secure these together so that we can work on top of them. So coming back to your pieces in here, we want those long bits, and I just tend to push them out with something solid. I'm using the back of my tweezers there, and then we'll turn these over now. So making sure, oops, I've got a little bit there that's not quite stuck down. Just pop a bit more in there. And then we're going to pop the back on now, as I say, and it'll hold all those together. So turn them over. Make sure they're in the right orientation. Okay, I wrote T's on the top of mine so that I knew which way I was going with them. And when they're all lined up, you can see that these match. Now, I'm not worried that I've covered them up on the other side, because this isn't going to go all the way through. It's literally just going to lock inside. And I do like, again, when I'm working, not everybody does this, but I do like to work with a little bit of glue. So again, just on the bits that are going to make contact with the other pieces, I'm just running some of that tacky glue just on those little notches that are going to go. And you know then you've got a really good secure finish on them. So again, we'll see, just leave it a second or two. Get them lined up, and they literally just click into place. So there's not a top and a bottom, whichever way you want to go, and literally just snap them into place there. Whoops. That one there and that one there. And then I'm going to do the same with the second one. Okie dokes. Straight along that edge that's going to meet with the back of the project. And then I've just gone a tiny little bit, and that's where they're going to disappear into the holes on the back of the other project. So again, same again, and this is enough then to hold these pieces together. All right, now the glue dries clear, but if you do have any little bits sort of dribbling out that you don't want to, I tend to just run my craft knife down there. All right, just to get rid of any excess. As I say, it does dry clear, so it's not really a problem, but you know me, it's got to be done properly. Okay, so we've got those there, and we've got that now ready to start working on the front now. So I've got a nice strong base there ready to start working on. So I have taken, again, some of those papers out of that, that's that lovely stripy one there, but we're actually going to use the green side on this one. And I've done a couple. This one was out of the same paper pad as here. So I've got sort of a wood grainy effect one, and then a pepperminty colour on the back. So again, this one's been cut with a die. And then I've used that paper scrimper again just to scuff the edges up. And then I hadn't got a die this big, so it was a case of look around to see what I'd got. And we ended up with a sandwich plate. So it just happened to be the right size to create that next circle that I needed. And I've cut this with, I've got an old pair of Deckle Edge, you know the scissors with the fancy edges on them. I've just cut it again to give it a little bit of extra texture there. So again, because we're going to now go paper to paper, I'm coming back to my collal. So we're swapping out from the tacky and we're going to go to the collal. And then we've got the background. So really, if you treat this like the background of a card, if you think when I did that first demo, we did all the matting and layering at the background, that's essentially what we're doing here. We're just doing it on a piece of MDF, okay? So that one's going to go on top like so. And then again, I'm just sticking these flat. If you want to add some dimension here, you could be using your collal job. So collal glue would work here. You could use foam pads on here. You could use hot glue. I'm going to revert to the hot glue gun when we do the decorating in a second or two. So I've got my background. So this is essentially just like having the background of your card on the go, yeah? Mm-hmm. And then we've got our little bunnies that are going to go on here. Okay. So those are going to sit in as the decoration. Okay, so we've got some extra bits on here. Now, if you wish, you can use we've actually got the little pieces that would make their tails. So you've got a little MDF piece here that you can decorate for the tail. And I went down that line to start off with, and then I changed my mind as I went on. My producers just said in my ear, which is a fabulous idea, but I didn't have any. Would you believe in the vast stash I own, Georgina, that I didn't have any little pom-poms? I think they would look great as little fluffy tails on there, and I couldn't find any. I was gutted. So I've done something else instead. And then you've also got your lettering as well. So again, just be gentle with these. And I tend to use the back. You can let me just see here, get our George to zoom in a little bit. We've just got some, I call them tangs. I don't know what the proper word is for them, but they're just attached. There's a little tiny bit there. You can just see where it's attached to the MDF, and every so often throughout. So what you need to do is break that contact. But obviously the wording is quite delicate, so just be gentle with them and go near where that piece is. And I tend to push through from the front to the back, and then you can see it's loose until you get to the next one here. Yep, and then just work your way along till you come to the next one. There's one there, and literally you've got the wording out there. And I chose to leave that wording. I loved that in the MDF. So I chose to leave that there like that. And then we'll come back to the Every Bunny because these are separate letters. So I'll come back to those in a second. So you've heard me talk lots of times. I make Ben laugh, Becky, when I talk about my bag of gubbins. He says he'd never heard that before. I don't know whether you've heard it before.
Gubbins?
My bag of gubbins.
Oh, yeah, I've got gubbins.
See?
Gubbins
See,
all
you
up.
know what it is. Yeah.
Gubbins.
Ben had no idea what I was
elements.
talking about. I'm teaching him a whole new language. So I brought my bag of gubbins with me today, and it's basically just my bag of bits. No pom-poms.
No pom-poms in there,
I'm gutted. Gutted. So I've got all sorts of bits and pieces. I just had a scout round this craft room to see what I've got. And we have got, let me just grab, this is on the website. I love this stuff. You get a mixed bag of this. This is the sisal on moss. So this is what we've got here, and it's just extra texture to add to your project. So I've literally taken a tiny piece out. You can see how long this is going to last you, just to use as some extra texture. I've also taken out some of the moss, again, from here. You've got two different types here, just for texture. So that was out of that packet. I've also taken some flowers, again, out of my little stash drawer. So we've got quite a few different lemons, and we've got the greens in the leaves, and I'm going to put these on with hot glue just to decorate that base. And then I've also got some little pearl embellishments, again, out of the stash. Whatever you've got lying around, you can see there. That one's come off the thingy, which is why it's sticky. So I've got 3 stars, I've got 3 lots of pearls, and I've got some extras to decorate. So now literally we're just going to start popping it together. So again, I'm going to use the tacky glue to pop all the pieces on. Because I'm working with wood to paper, I'm going to go with the tacky glue as opposed to the solvent. Remember, the solvent works better with cardstock or paper to paper. So again, choose your glues wisely. All right, so again, all over the back here. And we just need to leave it a second or two. By the time I've done the other three, this one should be good to go. So I'm going to leave him in the middle there. Pop the glue on these ready.
And don't forget, I have got the Go To Glue by Dreamies that is created for working specifically with the likes of woods as well as your cards and everything else. So they're available for you if you do fancy them. 3 and they're 50ml each. So these are going to be perfect for this technique if you fancied it.
So we've got to there. And then I'm literally going to use my grid on here and just centre it between 2 points to find roughly the middle here. And I want to stick this one, I think I did him slightly higher up in the middle, yep. So we've got him along that central line, a little bit higher up in the middle there. And then when we turn these two over, we're just going to come down so that they're almost creating a little bit of an arch. And then the same at that side. Okay, and then again, we're on the wood, so I'm just going to go with that same glue. And this is where that fine tip applicator comes in handy, because you can just literally take it all the way around your lettering. So I used the bigger tub when I was using a bigger area, and then that fine tip applicator for those fine areas. So there we go, all the way around the welcome there, and that's going to stick across the bottom there. And again, I'm just going to use the lines on my paper there to pop that one down. So we'll sit that right across the bottom. And again, just takes a second or two for that tacky to grab. And then I'm just going to, where their little tails are going to go, I'm going to pop a little blob, because you can also do your embellishments with this as well. And in lieu of fluffy tails, we're going to use little pearls.
Oh.
All right, so just to pop them a little tail on, and then that keeps in with the theme of what I'm going to do with the rest of the embellishments. Okay, so we've got that far. I've got some extra pearls to decorate with, and I've got, in fact, we'll pop these on now. We've got a little tiny bit of glue on there, so a little stars. As I say, these were just what I'd found in my, I've got a big tub of all things pearl embellishments. So that's on there, and we'll have one. Tend to work in sets of 3s as well. One at the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to put my every bunny round here, and then the last piece that you get in with it is the base. So again, we've got that lovely MDF, and again, I've covered that with a piece of the patterned paper which matches the little bunny. So this is that daisy from that Delicate Daisies kit. So again, you can see here, okay, exactly the same way as I did with the others. And then I covered the whole thing, and then from the reverse I've used the craft knife to take that middle piece out. And again, this is the idea of having that lovely thin sort of filing tool. You can get into the edges of there to do your filing. Okay, so let's just pop that piece to one side for a second, and we're going to start and build up. In fact, I'm going to put it together before I build up the base here at the front, and then I'll turn it round so that you can see what I'm doing. So again, I'm going to put the glue, this piece is going to stick into here. So I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of glue across this edge here. You don't have to use the glue, it's just a personal, I just like to know that it's going to be sealed in there. All right, and then this literally just clicks into your base there. So just get it lined up and then give it a press. Oop. There we go, and it just clicks in to place. And again, if you've got any glue squidged out, you can just run that down. It does dry clear, but I tend to just take the excess off, but we're going to be covering the front of it anyway. And then I'm going to use my hot glue gun now. So if I turn this round, I'll see if I can work back to front for you. When I'm actually popping the the elements on to decorate, I do tend to use the hot glue. So I've got my glue gun out at the ready. I think we've got enough glue left in there. And the first thing I'm going to pop on is that sisal at the bottom. I don't know how well I can do this. I've never worked with this back to front before, so we will give it a go.
I've got faith in you.
Have you?
Yeah, completely. Look
So
at that.
just a few little bits there. Pop this in, and then I tend to use the glue gun to stick it in, because obviously your glue is very, very hot. So be careful with fingers in here. Just be mindful that it is quite hot, okay? And then I'm going to pop a little bit of the moss. I think there's a couple of pieces there. They've got tangled together. But you can just tear it apart. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to put one piece at this side, just to create a little bed for those flowers to stick in. And again, use this to press it down so that you don't get it stuck on your fingers. And again, a little bit at this side, just to make that little bed for the flowers. Okay. And then again, I've just taken bits and pieces, as I say, that I'd got in my stash. I've got just a plain paper flower that I was going to sit the cream one in to bring a little bit of that lemon into place. And that's going to be my main one in the back there. So again, nice big blob of the hot glue, and that will then stick into place on top of what you've got. And just hold it for a second or two. And then I've got some other pieces, again, little bit of glue, and just pop these in together. So we've got a yellow one, we've got another creamy coloured one, probably got more than what I need there, but we'll just put those along here. Okay, and then we'll just go one last yellow one at the end. Okay, and this again, you know, there's no real skill. I am literally just sticking them down. And then I've got some leaves, again, just what were in the same box as my flowers. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on there. Tuck one under that side. I'm going to put one at the other end. Again, just sort of think about the symmetry of what you're doing. But just, you know, I would just encourage people to have a go. There's not really any right or wrong. I'm just going to grab another glue stick. Actually, my producer's just saying in my ear that would be a really, you know, if you were doing this as an Easter gift, what about the little eggs in the bottom as if they were nested in the bottom? How cute would that look? Would be really pretty, wouldn't it? And then again, I'm just going to put this one, just working in those sets of 3 again. I'm just going to try and lift this and pop that one under the front there. So you've got that little bit of decoration going on there.
Really looks fab.
And then I'm going to turn it round again and lay it down. The last thing, and again, I'll probably do this and then you can come back to it, because these are they're only very tiny letters. And again, they come out just the same as the others did. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick these around the top, Becky. So it's going to take a few minutes to do that. I'm going to put these around here.
No problem.
So I'll finish that off, and then I'll show you the finished project when I've done them.
Sounds
okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much for showing us that. That looks really inspirational, doesn't it? And perfect for summertime. Let me just go through some of the other new elements that we've got for you. So let me start off with the MDF collection that the wonderful Jan was just working with. This is what we've just seen being crafted with. You are going to get the layers that build up that wonderful base circle. You're also going to be getting the base itself, which that final piece very simply slots into. And you're also going to be getting the bunnies. These ones here are the struts that hold all of this together. And you've obviously got the wording as well, which I don't know about you, but would you use it the way around that Jan has, or would you use it the other way round? Because I always feel like it makes something different. Let me explain myself.
Sorry, say that again. Because you mean the colour?
No, as in the wording. So it could be
well,
every bunny welcome, or it could be Welcome everybody.
Yes, it could. You're quite right.
I feel like every bunny welcome is something I've had in my home, but welcome every bunny might be something you have at an event or at your wedding.
Yeah, again, different ways to use it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, just a thought. And you've got the lovely bunnies and their little cotton tails as well. So you can treat yourself to that one today. All of the details there at the side of your screen. So do treat yourself if you want to get crafting with that. Next up, I'm going to bring to you something which I think if you have seen any crafting magazine or if you follow any Instagram crafters, for example, you will have seen this shape and this feel time and time and time again, often with sentiments on, idea boards, mood boards and photographs. These are that design that you have seen crop up on Instagram left, right and centre. You are getting not one, not two, but 3 of these wonderful hearts, and you're looking at around about 5 mil in thickness. Now that's really good because it means that although it's lightweight, they're really nice and sturdy, so you're going to be able to get a great crisp finish around these. You've got the 2 hanging holes here, so you could hang these, couldn't you? Maybe with some of your twine to do a door hanging. Maybe you could put your photographs in there to hang up at a window. When I looked at these 2, I thought if you turned it upside down, it could almost be for someone who's maybe into cards as well. It's got that club feeling, doesn't it? As in cards, playing cards. You could do something like that, maybe casino design. So you're getting 3 of those ones today for that price, again on your screen. So if you do fancy grabbing them, now is your chance. Again, 3 of those ones with that lovely bezeled edge again. Not only have we got that though, I know we've had so much on this launch of the Dreamies, haven't we? These new Dreamy products. I'm going to bring to you next some window embellishments. I look at these and I just think they are adorable. They feel very sort of grand home, but also, I don't know if this is just me, but when I looked at them for the first time, I thought if I painted that red, it'd look a little bit like a traditional telephone box. You could do something like that, couldn't you? You could even glue some together maybe and do like a little 3D telephone box with them, couldn't you? That could look quite cute. We are bringing to you a massive set of these ones, as you can see. And these ones are going to look great to adorn elements pieces. You could do so much with these. I've got a large version of this. It's not the same shape, but I've got a large version of this, and I've actually put photographs behind each one, and it's up as a wall hanging. You could do something like that really easily. Maybe, for example, say you get your family name and you put it in this section. So I could write Redican in this section, and then maybe photographs of me and my family behind each one. That'd be a cute little design, wouldn't it? You could do a key ring from it maybe. You could fill it with resin as well. Again, if you are into your resin work, back it, fill it, peel the backing off, and you're going to get that window-like design. And then maybe you could do stained glass windows, for example. It's going to look great. Again, you're getting a massive amount of these, as you can see. And yes, they're perfect for many different makes, including anyone who's interested maybe in building or upcycling dolls' houses. I know that's a big thing at the moment. They'll be great. So enjoy those ones. Treat yourself to, again, don't forget that today and tomorrow, last day tomorrow, we've got extra 5% off all of your orders. So if you're brand new, you've never shopped with us before, hi, how are you? My name's Becky. Thanks so much for joining me today. And if you're new, it's your first order, you get 20% off. Great. But you also get an extra 5% off today on these show products. And it's the same for everyone, but just as a reminder. Not only have we got those, I have got my penultimate MDF piece here, and I think this is going to be for any of you who like to create your own working environment. I'll be completely honest with you, I do have a crafting area, but if I need to catch up on the soaps, usually it's the sofa. But if you do have your own crafting area, or maybe there's somebody, for example, the lovely Marsha. Marsha was saying then, you know, she's working on setting some elements up and kind of moving elements of her craft room to a different space. This could be a great giftable for the likes of the lovely Marsha, because look, sizable piece here saying crafter at work. Again, with the 2 hangings here, you've got about 5 to 6 mil on these ones. Would you paint it? Could you colour it? Maybe you'd use some, I'd use like gesso on it and maybe add little dot art to it. You can colour it in the same colour as maybe your craft room itself. There's so much you can do with this. As well as that, I've got your baseboard here, and this you can use with our lettering. So you've got here your crafter at and work again. Backwards, sorry, there you go, crafter at work. Or you could also use your my craft room. And you've got the opportunity to do that, not just on the rectangle, but also if you wanted on the heart in this collection. So you can mix and match those. You could put the crafter at work on the heart maybe, or you could put a room with craft. It's absolutely up to you. And of course, photographs on this, personalise them, giftables. Maybe you, over the last few months, have got one of your friends into crafting. I know that I most certainly have. Getting friends into crafting is something to do, to be honest. What a lovely little gift for them, just to say well done on your new hobby. Enjoy those ones, and again, you're getting all 3 in that set. You don't have to choose which one you want, you get all 3. Final MDF one now for all of you twitchers out there, or bird lovers as you're otherwise known. These are wonderful. And what I really like about these, and Dreamies in general, and a lot of the crafts that we bring to you here at Crafters TV, is I love that there's a lot you can do with these. So we are going to be demoing these in a bit. These are the bases for your bird houses. And I say houses because you're getting 3 in a set. You've got your roofing section, your panels for the sides and the front and back there as well, including that lovely little peephole, which would be perfect for them. Do you fancy having a little nosy of one of these made up? Because Jan, you've worked with one of these, and as we said before, it's just adorable.
They are actually. I can imagine having a little row of them. And again, you can see how we did this one with the papers. I've literally just covered the MDF panels with the papers and then literally fished in the craft stash, a little bit of trim on the edges there, little tiny butterfly die, and some of those metallic pens again just to colour the edges in. So we're going to recreate this one in that lovely lemon paper, and we're going to use the stripes on the roof, Becky. Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah, we're going to recreate this one later. I've got another stamp demo next, and then we'll do this one towards the end of the show. But yeah, they're so cute, and I can just imagine, as I say, a little set of them all sort of lined up on a shelf would look really cute.
Almost a little bit like when you go to certain seaside resorts,
yes,
and you see the little changing huts,
the beach
next
huts,
to each
yes,
other, don't you?
Yeah.
Because they
you
have a little
decorate
peephole, don't they?
You know, striped paper.
Yeah.
You could actually leave out this bit, and you could actually make it into a little beach hut, couldn't you, quite easily?
So lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, there's loads you can do with them. Oh, I want one. So you do get a full pack of 3 here. So if you wanted to do maybe a beach hut design, then you can multi-buy on these, remembering you're saving 5% extra on each of those times. Now I do have a little bit more of MDF in the messy mats coming up for you, but for your final building ones, if you will, this is it for you. So do seize the moment on those if you so wish. We are looking now back at your MDF because you finished the wonderful Every Bunny Welcome collection.
Oh, no, they're just so cute. They really are. I just think they make great home decor pieces. So this is the one that I did at home in the lilac, and then we've just recreated it here with that lovely lemon and mint green. Really spring-like, I think, with those colour tones from the paper pad. And then you can just see that little cluster of things going on at the bottom there. Absolutely gorgeous. And you saw when I've stripped it down into pieces, it wasn't difficult. So even though you can wow people with your sort of finished project, when you take it down into the sections, you know, and you can do this however you wish. I chose to cover it with papers. You could paint on it. I know Marcia said she enjoyed her painting. Use the paints on the background if you don't want to use papers. You know, you could actually be using fabrics to cover the little bunnies with. Again, mixed media, bring all those different things in. I just think that idea of the little pom-poms on the tail, I was just so cross that I couldn't find any in my stash. They would look great. Just that you can get little sparkly ones, little white sparkly ones. They would look fabulous as the little fluffy tails on the bunnies. But yeah, really nice idea just for that piece of home decor.
Jan, thank you so much for whipping that up for us. I can imagine that in so many people's homes, and as I say, businesses, you know, the front of businesses when they're back up and running. That would look beautiful, wouldn't it? If you have just tuned in, of course we've got the wonderful Jan with us. You've also got me. It's Becky. Nice to see you. And we are joined today by one of our wonderful customers and special guests, all the way from her lovely home in Essex. It is Marsha. Hi again, Marsha.
Becky, hiya.
How's the crafting going?
Going well, yeah. I've cut out some tags and hearts, some gems. So I'll just...
Looking lovely, isn't it? And what a personalised gift as well, rather than just any old album that you can get off the shelf. That looks gorgeous. I love the colours you've chosen.
Thank you. I try to... it's sometimes you have to go outside of yourself and try and be a bit more thoughtful when it comes to colours and incorporating them. I'm can be kind of very blank, can be monochrome. So bringing in the greens and the peaches, I think that's quite nice for somebody else. But
Yeah,
you have to push yourself.
It's hard not to go to your favourite, isn't it, every time?
It is, yes, and don't be scared. Don't be scared of using lots of colour and even different patterns, and just kind of going for it. Literally, it's just a piece of paper, it's just a bit of paint, and you can start again. I think we put a bit too much stress on ourselves when it comes to crafting. It should be really, really enjoyable.
Definitely, and really good fun. And that's the whole great thing about experimentation. You never know what's going to happen. Now, Marsha, I do know that it's not just you in your household. You've got some people in your home with you. Do they like crafting?
Oh my goodness. Well, seeing as I practically own a craft shop, it seems like, with all the stash that I've bought, ever since they're born. I mean, it's when you've got children, for them to sit down and do crafting, but when they've got a mum that does so much different stuff, and they've taken the whole kind of ethos into school, and it's a way of life for us. I was brought up by my granddad was a civil engineer, so I was brought up in the tool sheds, passing the tools. We know how to cut glass and put up wallpaper, and you know, it is definitely a way of life.
Definitely. And with your children taking this kind of into school, how do their friends and family react to it? Do they enjoy that element of the creativity being brought in?
They do, but I find that classrooms are so big these days that we don't always get, the children don't always get to show exactly what they can do. So they're more expressive at home because we have the time, and we have more one-to-one time, and I can teach them. But my daughter's, she's always making background papers. She actually helped another child at school with their background papers, and they've got great understanding of different methods and stuff.
That's beautiful, because that's one of the things about crafting. I always think it teaches you sharing, doesn't it?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Really, it does. Do your children have a favourite kind of medium, or are they happy to give anything a go?
I think most kids love paint, don't they? The messier,
the messier the better.
I try not to give them the glitter these days because that's just, a nightmare.
Goes everywhere,
yeah. They have fun. I'm not so much having fun with that one.
Hoovering it up for weeks.
You've got to, let them be free to express themselves anyway, so.
100%. Obviously, you've already said that you're really into painting at the moment, but do you have a product, say a Crafter's Companion product, or just a product that you could not craft without, that you use more than any other?
I've got to say, I'm very much kind of attracted to crackle glaze at the moment.
Oh, yes.
I love that effect. So I've been mucking around with that, and different products from different people. I know that you guys at the store, you sell creative expressions, and I see you had some gilding waxes on earlier.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm a lot of their products as well. But yeah, I'm kind of just up for using whatever I can get my hands on, just kind of give it a go. But you guys have inspired me. I've got all my Dreamies stuff out now. I've got all my inks out, all my little inks,
fab.
and the range of sparkle stamps.
Oh yes.
Inks, yeah.
Yeah, the
And I've
inks.
got some Dreamy stamps here as well.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You guys have inspired me to get on with some stamping and some colouring today, because I'm an avid colourer as well. I love Spectrum Noir. I do a lot of colouring. I find it really, really helpful when I want to come out of myself and maybe just go back to zero.
Yes.
Then colouring is so fantastic.
It really is. I find it so meditative and zen, and it's great, for your mind to have a bit of a rest, isn't it? We're going to let you have a bit of a rest now, Marcia, because we're going to let you carry on crafting, but we'll come back to you a little bit later on if that's all right.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
We have got so much more to come for you on this show, and if you are interested in Dreamies, we have launched some new products for you that are currently available, so do go seize the moment on those, because we do also have some Dreamy stamps, including that extra 5% off until Sunday. Speaking of stamps, let's get stamping. Jan, I'm with you.
We're going to go back to that lovely collection that we had at the beginning. We're going to use that gorgeous welly boot, Rebecca.
Oh,
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So again, yeah, you've got all sorts going on in here. You've not just got that main image. We've got sentiments in there, gorgeous little butterflies which I've incorporated. And again, I'm going to use the stamp. I'm going to show you a little bit of the colouring again with the illustrators if you weren't with us at the top of the show. And then we're actually going to turn this into a piece of home decor as well this time. So again, if I put my hand at the side of this, they are a decent size stamp. So we're going to stamp it out again. And talking of pieces of favourite equipment, Becky.
Go on.
Honestly, if I had to name one, this would be mine. I'm always raving about it.
Yeah.
As a stamper, this is probably one of the best pieces of kit that I own, the stamping platform with the magnetic base. It really gives you confidence with your stamping in the fact that you can restamp if you've missed some of it. And I think that's one of the biggest things with stamping. People go for it with a block, miss a bit, and then you try and line it up and it ends up with a double image, and you just get frustrated with it in general, whereas this is really simple to use and to reline if you want to stamp. So again, taking my alcohol proof ink again, just like we used up at the top of the show, because I'm going to use those Illustrator pens again, which we have on the show. So if you want to top up on any of those markers, we've got those there today. So nice covering of ink, and then literally pop this down onto that Nina cardstock again I've got here. I'm sorry I keep using the Nina, but my producers told me that it's out of stock. So the white stamping card will work just the same. The other thing, is like, and I always forget about this, is that you've got those gorgeous paper pads there. Stamp onto the pattern paper. I know, Becky, you mentioned at the top of the show about paper piecing.
Yes.
This would be a great one to do,
the
because
big
you could
welly.
stamp on the yellow paper and then stamp it again on the green to take the welly out of it and add that to it. It would look stunning, wouldn't it? So again, let's just pop that off there, and I'm going to bring in my piece of scrap again just to rest on for the colour inside of it. So again, we've got that lovely alcohol proof ink, so that I know now that I'm confident that when I use my Illustrator pens, my alcohol pens, that line art isn't going to move around. So again, I've taken two different yellows, and these are from two different packs. I've got the bright yellow from the Botanical, and I've got the slightly darker yellow from the Fiery one. And again, I'm just going to use those to make a little bit of a blend. So again, using that beautiful brush tip, and I'm just going to do a little bit of this again, and then as I say, I've got one all coloured in. So from the top here, we're going to bring that brush nib down, and I'm just going to do a couple of petals at a time, exactly the same technique, and then we're going to take the darker one and bring it up from the bottom to meet it. And you just get that little bit of two-tone, because flowers tend to be a little bit darker nearer the centres. Okay, so we've got those in there, just maybe a couple or two or three at a time. Like I said, if you go too far and the alcohol dries and evaporates, you'll not be able to get that blend.
No.
So if you've struggled with your alcohol colouring, that might be something to think about. As I say, if you go too far, don't let that alcohol evaporate off the paper, because you want that damp sort of texture to move it about there. And then that last one, again, turn it round, bring it in from the top. And these brush knit, honestly, I keep going on about them, but they are absolutely beautiful to work with. Just flicking that out is not difficult at all. And you can see how those flowers come to life. And then I've got the green set there, and I'm going to use the turquoisey greens this time rather than those. We used the bright greens on that last project. But in here you've also got a couple of turquoises as well, so we'll use those in the same way. So I've got a lighter one and a darker one. And again, you've just got little areas of the leaves, but just look how easy it is to get into those fine areas with those points on there. And then a little bit of the dark one towards the bottom again, just to give a bit of depth. Now, if you're not comfortable with all the shading, you don't have to do the blending. You can just use one colour for the leaves and colour them in. Like Marcia said earlier, it should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be stressful. So don't worry about it. If you just wanted to use one colour and literally colour your leaf in one colour, there is nothing to stop you doing that. You don't have to bring that second one in to start blending it. And then I went back to those more sort of traditional greens to do the Wellington boot. And again, I'll just do a little bit at the top and then show you the finished one. So again, because of the nib, you've got that sort of facility to colour in those larger areas as well. Look how lovely that ink's laying down there to give me that base layer. So I'm not going to colour the whole thing in, because it does take a little while to spend, with the shading and everything. But flood that area with your first colour, and then think about where you've got a little bit of a clue there with the line on it. So I'm just going to come in from this side with that darker colour, just flicking it in from the edge there, all the way down that side. And then we're going to come back over it with the lighter colour and just blend those lines in. So again, I'm going to come back into it this way and just overlap it slightly. And you can just see how that colour's now sort of blending together. If you've got a rough line going, just go over it again. Try not to go too far into your dark green, because the lighter one will bleach out the darker one. But you can always go back and add this darker area, and it will all
look fab.
And again, another top tip with alcohol marker colouring is don't worry about it yet. I would always say, when you've got to a point where you've finished colouring, walk away, go make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and leave it for a little bit, because you need all the alcohol to evaporate before you see your final sort of finish on it. And when it's actually done, you can see here, if I lay this one over the top, the kind of effect you can get, and making that boot look a little bit more dimensional rather than it being flat. So all I've done with this is just took my little snips and I've literally fussy cut all the way around the edge, just leaving a little tiny white line around the edge of it. So this is the one that we're going to use, but I've coloured the flowers in just the same, add a little bit of brown to the centre, and then literally the green on the boot there. So you can see how we've arrived at that. Okay, so that was the stamped element. And then I also want to bring in these from that kit. And again, you think, how am I going to use those? How am I going to incorporate them? But you'd be surprised, even on your cards, you can bring them into card making. I'm actually going to use them in a frame this time, so we can make a piece of home decor. But these come as is. You don't have to pop them out of anything. You just get a bag full of these, and again, decorate them how you wish. So when you see the one that I've decorated up, if you bring this one in beside it, again, I've gone in with a little bit of the chalk paint in the background in the lemon to pick up the lemon in the flowers, a few little bits of pearls at the bottom, and then I've used a piece of lace out of my stash that I had in the drawer there. All right, and I've stuck that on the reverse to make it look like a little curtain.
Love it.
And then I've just used a little bit of sparkle glitter, just added that on with my finger just to give it that little bit of extra shimmer. So that's going to be part of my feature along with the stamp there. So that's that one. And then what I've done is I've created now, those of you that were watching a few weeks ago, I know a lot of people asked me how I made the frame, and I did a demo on this, which I think we've popped up for people to go back and look at. It's sort of a deconstructed frame.
Okay.
So you make all 4 sides individually and then fasten them together. So that is out there as a demo if you look back and have a search for that. You can see these papers coming in again. So I've got those gorgeous daisies there, and I've also got a little bit of vellum just to add a bit more interest in it, and I've torn the edges of both the vellum and the paper there just to add some detail. And this is going to be the background for what we're going to work in. We're going to have the little frame in there. I'm going to build this up probably with some foam pads to go on the top. And then we're going to start adding some other bits and pieces. So in that stamp set, I love this. You're my favourite, Becky.
Oh, thanks.
So that's going to be our sentiment to go on the bottom there. I just think, what a gorgeous. How can you not smile if you sent somebody something with that greeting on it, yeah? And then also, if you remember on that stamp set, we had these gorgeous little butterflies. So I've used some of my quick dry inks to just stamp these out, and we're going to use these to decorate here and there. And I've added a couple of little gems in the middle there. You can just see I've got 3 in 3 different colours there. And then I've also pulled out, in the bag of gubbins again, we've got some little flowers, and then I've die cut some pieces of foliage as well. So, you know, just grab what you think you need to actually start decorating. I'm going to bring that hot glue gun in again for this. So in the back there, the first thing we're going to do is pop the wooden piece in. So again, with it having all the fabric and everything else on there, I'm just going to use hot glue, and I get an instant stick with the hot glue as well, which is always handy when you're working on something like this. So that one's going to go in there like so. And then I may need to bring some foam pads in. I'm just going to shape this slightly just by running my fingers underneath it. Either the foam pads, I think it might be better with the collal actually, I'll be able to get a better stick on it there. Then this one's going to go towards the bottom, so I'm just going to run some hot glue on here just to stick the sentiment down, and then we're going to start embellishing with all those little bits and pieces. So let me just grab my 3D glue gel, because I think that will work best in the underneath of the stamp there. Whoops, the butterfly just nearly flew away then. So again, some nice sort of decent size. See the good technique there, straight from the thingy. And we'll pop that. And this will then mould into place wherever we want it to go inside. And I'm just going to overlap the window slightly and then leave that in the bottom there. All right, my little butterfly tried to fly away there. And then let's have a look. We're going to we've got that one on there, and we're going to put another one. So because I've got my sentiment here, I like to sort of offset it and do something in the opposite corner just to sort of balance it out a little bit. So that one's going to go there. And then literally just build it up with whatever you've got. You know, there could be foam flowers, there could be die cut flowers, you know, you could make fabric ones, whatever it is you've got. These just happen to be some that I had lying around, and I just needed them for speed really. And I'm just literally going to make a cluster of these all together, I think, at the top.
Because that looks quite sturdy, you could even get like a, you know, pre-used plastic jar, stick to it, and then actually use that as a little vase maybe for real
you
flowers.
Could, yeah. To be honest, to say this is made from card,
yeah,
that is craft card that I've used, and then I've just cut some pieces to, I've embossed them,
yeah,
just to do the top of it. It is that you'd be amazed how sturdy they are.
Yeah, you can tell when you're handling it how sturdy it is. It's great.
So we're just going to pop that last one on that end there. And as I say, I just like to offset what's going on at the bottom. And then if you do get any of these little trails with I know a lot of people don't like using the hot glue. You sometimes get those little hairy trails. Yes. The quickest way of getting rid of those is when you're finished, all right, just take your heat tool and gently waft over it, and all those little trails will just melt into nothingness
Yeah.
and disappear. So I'm going to put... I did. My producer's
going,
saying
"That's
turn
very
it on."
quiet.
It is very quiet. It is
Yeah,
on.
it is.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I can't
It
hear
is
anything
on.
else now.
That's why I like it. I can craft late at night and not disturb anybody. In those mad hours when I can't sleep, I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about who I'm disturbing. I do use the directional tool, I must admit. If I'm doing heat embossing, the directional tool sort of has its moment. But when I'm doing the mixed media stuff, if I'm drying stuff off and things like that, I tend to use that low heat one. So again, I've just got these from that stamp set. So these were actually part of the stamp set here. So I've just stamped them out in different colours, and again just fussy cut round them just to add an extra little bit of detail. And we're going to put a couple on the sides here, so we need a purple one just to mix and match the colours there.
Cute.
And then I've got a little tiny bit of foliage that I was going to tuck behind here, just to bring it all into match again.
Oh,
And then we're
lovely.
going to have one of those little butterflies sat on the corner there, like so. And then the last one is going to perch on the top of that little window frame here at the top.
Love it.
So I've got some bits. I always end up with bits spare because I'd rather cut too many pieces than not enough.
Yes, of course.
All right, so I probably would
Great.
finish off that at home, maybe with some little pearl embellishments. I don't know, we'll see. But again,
Beautiful.
if I turn you this round now, you can see there, that's that stamp in action, using that little MDF window frame there that we've turned into a feature. And again, you know, making sort of home decor products. And what you can do, you've got choices with this. You can attach a card blank to the back of here if you really wanted to go, you know, whole hog. Or make a little stand out of card and you'll actually get it to stand up then. But yeah, fantastic. I just think that there's so many different things that you could do with them. Just have a play.
Oh, have fun with
Have a play.
those. And cool, blimey, you aren't off with that design. I love that one. Now, the stamp that Janice used for that design is a set of 3, and it's the Happiness Bloom collection. You don't have to choose which one you want, you get all of them. Now, there's 3 sets in total, and just in case you are new, maybe you've not shopped with us before, just to give you an idea of how the stamps come, they come on your clear background like that. They are reusable, and you'll use them time and time again. And again, to give you an idea of the size, you've got that really large size in on that one too. So we've got plenty of uses here for you. Lots of them with sentiments. There's 15 stamps in total and lots of different sentiments that you'll use over and over, such as happy birthday, just to say. And one of my favourite ones is the happiest people don't have the best of everything, but they make the best of everything, which for us crafters is kind of beautiful, isn't it? And for any optimistic people in your family too. Very thought-provoking indeed. So those ones are available for you. Let me give you another treat from the wonderful team at Dreamies, and it is your Dreamies Messy Matte collection. Now, if you're anything like me, you will sometimes make a little bit of a mess when you're crafting, and sometimes you have to be pretty careful where and how you do that. Well, these will make all of that so much easier. Let me tell you first off what you're going to be getting. So you're going to be getting 2 sets within this bundle, 2 different sizes. So this one is the size of an A4 sheet of paper, just to give you an idea. You're going to be getting usable elements here, and we'll talk you through how you sort of set this up later. And then you also get your, I would say this is an A, let me see, I'm folding this in half. Yep, that's around about the size of an A6 piece, that one, isn't it? So you've got something here that's going to help you keep everything in check. So do you ever do inking? Do you ever need a palette for things like painting? Well, this is it, your messy area station, but you can design it and create it exactly as you like. I also use my ones for when I'm colouring on the sofa as well, so I'm not chasing my paper around all the time. So you're getting both of those in this pack. So again, you don't have to choose which one you might use more often than not. You're getting both of them in that pack with the added 5% off as well, which I just adore. If you do want to seize the moment, alignment on them. Now is your chance, and all of that info's at the side of your screen. Now, whilst we're here, let me remind you of the paper packs, because we've seen them being used quite a bit today. They were used on as the backing for the Wellington design you've just seen then, as well as those bunnies. Now these, again, if you have just tuned in, from Dreamies, it's UK based. And it's a mother and daughter duo, Hayley and Carol, that came up with this design, came up with these beautiful pieces. 8x8 set I'm getting here, so it's 8 inches by 8 inches, which if you're into centimetres, is about 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. And you can cut these up, you can use them on your die cutter, you can use them with normal scissors, guillotines and more to create your own effect. The thing that's fabulous about these ones is you're getting double-sided designs. So you're getting absolutely loads in here of workability, and you're getting 12 of each sheet. So that means if, say, you know that you're only going to use that side, you're not going to use that one, you've got that side 12 times over. So that's the Something Subtle collection with those lovely delicate powder blues, etc. in there, as well as that one I brought to you earlier on, the florals. Now this one I felt was really vintage. This is your Floral Harvest design. So I'll show you the front of these just to give you an idea of the different designs that you're getting. But again, you're going to be getting all of these different elements. So we are bringing to you lots of different details and designs. Do you know, anyone remember Changing Rooms? Do you remember Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen? Actually, he does adverts for like a toilet company now, doesn't he? Or, you know, plumbing. Anyway, yeah, he does, yeah. Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen, it reminds me of one of his shirts. Anyway, little 90s reference. He's an interior designer, by the way, if you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. And then you've got your dot detail. And again, you've got these wonderful florals with the backing papers. They're going to be great for backing papers, great to use with your resins and so much more. And again, 48 of them you're going to be getting. So you get a real good stack to keep you crafting. Let me bring to you now the Delicate Daisies. These are for all of you who love that sunshine, happy selection of colours. Delicate Daisies we're bringing to you here, and for me, this is the great outdoors. This for me is walking through big, meadows of daisies, but also with a little bit of a nod towards that seaside life. Again, double-sided on each of these, and yes, you're getting 48 in total, which looks like this. So you're getting a real wealth of them in here with that lovely happy collection of colours. So 48 again of those, and it is an 8x8. And last but not least, on the paper pads, we've got the Candy Blooms. These are your lavenders, your lilacs, your peaches, your blossoms, your candy floss colours, if you will. And we've got for you here, when I'm looking at this kind of shade, I don't know if it's the shaping or the shading or the outline of it, but it almost makes me think a little bit kind of Cath Kidston. So if you like that kind of design, although it's obviously not Cath Kidston, but it almost feels like that in areas on this one. So you've got some, I think there's some that have got more antiquity feel to them, and then some that are a little bit more modern. In fact, this one reminds me a lot of the background board that we've got here in this very studio. So we've got lots again in there, including one of the favourite ones of the show for me, which has been that lovely ombre, sort of mottled, purple to lavender to lilac cloud design. So then again, you're getting 12 of the different finishes. No, sorry, you're getting 8x8 and you're getting 48 of the different ones, but obviously you're getting the double-sided as well. So treat yourself to those ones whilst you can. There's a really lovely range, isn't there? Marcia, you've still been crafting. If you were to pick one of those colour pads, are you someone who goes more for the blues, the purples? Do you prefer yellow hues? What's your colour palette?
Currently with purple, right as we speak.
Yes. Perfect timing. How is the crafting going? What have you been up to?
Well, I've completed the album, the front cover, for now.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
think
looks lovely.
That's incredible.
I think
That's
I won't push that any
gorgeous.
further. What I'll do
Yeah.
is I'll put some stamped images from the Dreamies set throughout, little messages, congratulations, lots of love throughout the album. to keep that going. And I'm just mucking around with a water mat and see how I get results. Try and do some reverse stamped images.
Ooh. And is this
Which
something that you've tried quite a few times, or are you still
No.
practicing?
Never tried. I've had my water mat for a long time. I've just recently got it out, and with getting all the dreamy stamps and inks out this morning, I thought, let me see what I can do this afternoon, so I will carry on with that.
Oh, fabulous. That's great. You're going to have to let us know how that gets on. It sounds wonderful. I'm sure you'll be able to be perfect at it. Now, we have got loads more treats and goodies on the way throughout the show. But lovely Marsha, just obviously you are at home in Essex at the moment, and you are crafting away, as we've said, with your wonderful memory book. Is there anything that you've crafted maybe over the last few months, the last sort of 18 months, that you're really, really happy with? Have you had a favourite make over the last 18 months?
My favourite make from, let me just get this, from Zara stuff, from the Crafter's Companion bits and bobs, is I recovered it was a shower set that I had got from my mum from a luxury brand.
Yeah.
And then she gave me back the box because it was extremely sturdy. So,
That's beautiful.
so that was...
Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my
And that-
gosh.
That is something, and I've done the flowers are
You'd
very...
pay a fortune for that, wouldn't you, if you bought something like that in a store?
You really
And,
would.
That is stunning.
Just put all the words around the sides.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this is something that is mine.
That's something you're keeping.
Yes, I couldn't let that go. It was probably one of my best makes that I've made.
I think that's incredible. And you're right,
Thank you.
absolutely, Jan. You would pay a pretty penny for
You
something
would,
like that in a
wouldn't you?
shop.
To get so much detail on that, I think that is beautiful. I don't blame you for keeping it, Marsha. I think
Yeah.
I would do too.
You know,
Yeah,
just
I would
cutting
be.
out, doing all the measurements, that was the hardest part. When you
Yeah.
get to the fun part of die cutting and designing it, that's the great part. But the measuring of the actual box was,
Yeah, time consuming, I bet. What else have you got there, Marsha?
I've got this. So I done this a long time ago when I first bought my Spectrum Noir pen. So this is probably about 4 years old now. And it's got a little bit of Paper Mania metallic pens over the top, but mainly with the Spectrum Noirs. Now this is when we're back into singular pens.
Right, yes.
So it's colour matching up myself. I
Wow.
still have them pens, and I did this the other day.
Oh, that's
Fabulous.
incredible textures you've got on that, Marsha.
And it's got I don't know whether you can see, but it's got the sparkle.
Yes, it's got a bit of glitter to it.
Yeah.
It's got glitter all on it, from the sparkle pens. But like I said, I love Spectrum Noir. And a dreamy piece that I did, if I can show you, it's rather large. I had it and I did it for Christmas. I never did it properly and I've gone back over it, but I bought the dreamy sleigh.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That's fabulous.
I stenciled over with just some snowflakes. I think that's with Creative Expression, some lava paste. And just, sprayed it, high glossed it. So that's ready for next Christmas.
Oh,
Stunning.
that's perfect.
Honestly.
Hey, you'll be there, the earliest, last day of November, just ready to put it out. Let's go. Marsha, it has been absolutely wonderful meeting you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I've
you
really
for having me.
appreciated it. Just on a final note before you leave us, if you had any tip for any crafter, what would a top tip from you, Marsha, be?
Relax and enjoy.
I love it. What a perfect note to end on. Marsha, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so
Thank you.
much again.
Have a great day.
We'll speak to you really soon.
Bye.
Oh, she's fab, isn't she? Absolutely
Multi-talented
wonderful.
there.
I know.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's the only problem with these shows. It makes me just want to get all my pens out. But anyway, thank you so much to Marsha. We have got plenty still more to come in the final furlong of this wonderful show. let me let you know that we have, just of course brought to you the new Dreamy stamps. We've brought to you the new paper pads as well as the new MDF as well. So we have been crafting up an absolute storm. And you have got that lovely little birdhouse in front of you there.
Isn't it cute? It really is cute. So I'm going to show you again how simple this goes together to make your finish. And you can embellish as much or as little as you want. The other thing I was thinking of was if you have got a little tiny bird die, how cute would it be to make a little birdie to sit on? There's like a little peg for him to sit on there. So how cute would it be just to sit on there? So we're going to show you how to pop that together. So it comes, you get your pieces in the outside frame as we did before, like we saw with the one with the bunnies in. And again, I've done some prep work. So just popping them out there, you can see that I've actually started to put some decoration on them. And again, we've used those paper pads. So we've got 2 side pieces. We have got our front piece, which I've already decorated here. All right, and I use a little circle die to just take the middle out there. And then we've got the back piece. I'm just going to show you, if you weren't watching earlier, I'm just going to show you how I did the decoration on there. And then I've started the 2 roof pieces. So again, those gorgeous stripes there just lend themselves, and a little bit of decoration on that one. And then I've left this one again just to show you how we arrived at that detail. And then you've got your base. And then I've not actually taken this bit out because I didn't want to lose it yet. This is the little peg that pushes in at the end just to give you the little perch. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one in there for now. So I've got all the bits that we need there. As far as actually deciding how to do this, you know, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can apply your glue and you can stick your piece down and then you can cut around it, okay? What I tend to do is draw around the piece. I like to draw around it and then just take my scissors and cut. I'm going to cut the pencil line away. So I'm cutting inside the actual pencil line because obviously that pencil line is going to be bigger than we need it to be. So just to take those edges away. Now I didn't want to try and cut all these little tiny curved edges. Again, choices, personal, you know, if you want to have a go at that, absolutely fine. But obviously time's against me when I'm trying to get all these projects done for you. So what I've done, again, I use my metallic pens a lot for edging things. So I've used one of the gold ones this time. And I've literally gone around the outsides again, like we showed you before on the bunnies. But I've also done a piece across the bottom where my piece of paper's literally just going to come to.
Great.
So you can see I've got that like sort of almost like a decorative edge at the bottom there with the gold on. You can just see underneath there. So literally we're going to pop these on, and I've already done the same and cut the piece just like I've shown you for the back there. So let's get these stuck down, and putting it together couldn't be more simple, honestly. So again, pop the glue on, give it a second. Whether you put the glue on the paper or the glue on here, it works both ways. So you can actually put it onto here as well. So depending how you prefer to do it, it doesn't really make a lot of difference as to which way around. The only thing that I would suggest when you've done it is to just make sure that that glue goes all the way to the edge, because you don't want that lifting up. All right, and then I'm going to pop this on and leave a little bit of a gap at the bottom for that gold deliberately to show through, and then give it a good press down. And then the same with this one, just take that glue right out to the edge so that you know that all those little corners are going to stick and it's not going to curl up on the corners. And again, we're going to pop this one over the top, and it should be just a fraction bigger than what we've got going on. Not too much, but just a little bit bigger. Okay, give them a good press down. And then, as I say, whether you prefer to use your craft knife, whichever you prefer, if you've got spare bits here, you can just literally bring the craft knife in, hold it against the MDF and take the spare pieces away. So where there's any hanging over the edges, just trim that out. Or if you don't like to use the craft knife, you can use your scissors and just hold them against the actual MDF and trim out any pieces that are sticking over the edge there. That one's not too bad. I just need the little scissors in that top section, just there. And then I'm going to use that file again, just to neaten those off. So again, cheap as chips. You can see mine's well loved. I'm nearly ready for changing this one. But again, just over the edges here, helps to seal it, and it also takes away any stray bits that may be sort of hanging that you didn't quite get with your scissors. So all round all 4 edges, or 5 edges in this case, and this one again, I'm going to do the same again. Just neatens it up. Make sure that you get a really nice seal as well. It seems to sort of finish off that edge. I've gone around the edges of here with the gold pen just to finish it off. Get rid of all those little pieces out of the way there. And then we've got a little bit of ink. Did I bring my gold? Yes, I did. So again, I've gone with Honey Pot on this one. And just get rid of that one. So again, I like to go around the edges with the ink. I think it just sort of finishes them off. You know, if you look at that one compared to that one,
Yeah.
I just think it sort of focuses it a little bit more. It's a personal thing. It's not necessary. You know, if you haven't got the inks or you don't like the idea, then, you know, just leave them plain on the edges. But it's something I do with a lot of my projects. So just round those external edges that are showing, it sort of just finishes off the edge of the paper there. So that was our water reactive inks there. That's the darkest one of the yellows. So we've got Honey Pot that I just picked it out to match, you know, the colours in there. All right. So as far as putting it together is concerned, then we've got our base piece, and you can see the little lugs in here are actually going to sit inside here. So what I'm actually going to do is sort of like, it's a little bit, when I put this together, it was a bit of sides and base all at the same time. So again, I'm going to use a little bit of glue. So I'm going to start with one of the sides. I'm going to attach it in here. So where it's going to touch the MDF, again, I like to just run a little bit of glue down there. I would normally leave it for a little while just to go tacky, but we're just getting towards the edge of the show now. So again, pop that one in. I'm going to get this one ready. So just on those edges that are going inside again. This one's going to go in here, but I'm also going to start thinking about my base as well. So I'm going to go into the back there, and I'm going to go down one side, and I'm going to go down the other side ready for that other piece going in as well. So we're actually going to go into the bottom here and slide into one side, and then we're going to bring this one in and onto this side, and it fits together really nice and firmly. And obviously once the glue's dried in there, it's going to give you a really nice finish. So again, just those edges that are going to interlock with the other side, well, the front piece this time. And again, I've got the 3 pieces on here, you can just see there, that are going to lock in to this one. So
Here's
again,
a quick question for you, Jan. If I didn't want to put the base on, could I get away with not putting the base on?
as long as you were using a strong glue, I think you probably could actually, and then you could use it to put something inside.
Yeah, I was thinking sort of like a little bonbon cover, or, you know, something
Yeah,
like that.
I was thinking about a little money box. I was wondering how you could turn it into a money box. I just saw it as that, and I'm thinking, you know, would you be able, but you'd need something to make a...
Well, if you've got like a Dremel tool or something
Yeah,
like that.
just to make, but I don't see why not. I mean, this locks it all together and makes it quite substantial, but I think as long as you were using a decent glue to hold the sides together, you'd probably get away with that. And then we've got, if you notice, our roof pieces, one is slightly longer than the other, so that when they fit together, this one is going to cover the other one. Okay, so that's why. So again, it doesn't really matter which way around you do these, but again, you've got the 2 little gaps, the 2 little lugs. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to pop glue just on here, and we're going to pop this one into, and it just, you know, the way they've been designed, you can see how easy those are going together. Yeah. And then what I've got is I've just got my little strip of pearls just to decorate that last piece. So I've got some, I'm going to go with the red line tape. Okay. So let's just pop that one on there. Okay. And then just say that again. My producer's just saying, and I only got half of that then. The front. Yeah? Oh, right, I missed the beach up bit. You disappeared on me, and I thought it'd look like, I thought I was guessing what it was going to look like. It would, and I think, you know, if you sort of started decorating with the stripy papers as well, George is just saying it could look like the little beach hut. So,
Or
yeah.
you could
Right.
make it look like a doll's house for a doll's house.
It's saying in my ear, we've not got much time left, but the whole idea here is we've got that piece goes on last. You can see how that fits together at the top. And I have got a couple of little butterflies, but I can stick those on just to decorate it. And then the last piece, again, is just that little piece that's left in the grid. And what I would do with this, I'll just finish this off towards the end off screen. I'm going to colour it in with the gold and then a little bit of glue on the end. And again, that just fits inside the little square here to give you your little perch for it to sit on. So again, I'm just going to pop a few little butterflies just to decorate. Okay?
That's just fabulous. Oh, thank you so much for showing us that, Jan. It really, that's one of those makes that I think just makes you sort of smile a little bit, isn't it? That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that,
You are welcome.
Jan. Well, what a day
It's been a great day, hasn't it?
Right? Absolutely. Thank you so much for all of your fabulous demos throughout the day.
You are welcome.
Now, we have got so much more still for you to be able to get. So head on over to the website. You can carry on shopping the show just to get those final moments of treats, because don't forget, it's 5% off. Tomorrow, I'm going to be with you again. And I'm going to be joined by the wonderful Bernie, and we're going to be doing some softer side. As well as that, I'm going to be with the lovely Debbie Fisher as well, and that is for craft class. Tomorrow, the final day of the 5%. So you go get some rest so you're bright-eyed for tomorrow. Have a great evening, and I'll see you then, my love. Bye-bye.